Hello, this is Christian Williams. This is for Circ07 for the C Attempt. I am recording this on November 3rd of 2021. The project that we're doing on is focusing more on button pressing and how the buttons can work with this kit. Similar to my CIRC01 A Attempt in terms of toggling an LED, or not toggling, but turning an LED on and off. The purpose of this program also as well kind of gives us a chance to work with decision-making statements, which I kind of mentioned in my last A attempt. Program is pretty straightforward. We actually were able to find it under this file, which I mentioned before. Under examples, under digital, we have button. So that's all that this is here. We're just using it for our C attempt here. So specific things to mention here. I mentioned previously about constant integer. This makes sure that this will never change, which is good when you're setting things to pins that will never change in the physical world. And then you need a variable that will change, which is button state. So if the button is on or off, or if it's pressed, we've set our integer to output and to input for our LED pin and button pin respectively. And then the loop is fairly straightforward in this. Once the button is pressed, the LED will be turned on, otherwise it will be turned off using an if-else statement, a decision-making statement. We did have to update this slightly because as specified directly in the code, that first line here initially read high and this read low, and that would mean that the LED would turn on, the button would just turn it off. So now the LED will be off and the button will turn it on. We just switch those two variables as instructed in our chat there. So circuitry is fairly simple as well, as you can see there. So we'll just transition to real life here. Wiring is very simple. We have our two buttons up there. This program is only going to be using this button for now. The B attempt will use this button, so it's just a board had us wire that up first, but currently that button does nothing. We have our two resistors along with our red pins going into the respective, or red wires going to the respective pins. You can see the top button is going into pin 2 and the bottom button is going into pin 3. And then down here we have our LED along with its resistor as well to make sure it doesn't burn out. And you can see that is plugged into pin 13 with our power and ground down here. So it's already on and compiled. So very quickly, push down the button, LED turns on, release it, off, on, off, on, off. And as you can see, the bottom button doesn't do anything yet, no matter what I do. So that was pretty straightforward. Again, that was for the Circ07 C attempt. I will see you in the B attempt.